Howdy folks, I'm Normative Nora, naturally normalizing naughty nooks.
I'm Amber.
And here are more naughty nooks for us to normalize. Why are we doing this, Amber?
I mean, you're a carpenter's level, so I couldn't think of a good word that begins with an N that described a crooked nook, so I was like, it's just not behaving like a nook should.
Yes, if you have a crooked nook, then it's not behaving as a nook should. Write that down. Let's get started. Alright folks, and our first letter is titled, Am I a Jerk for Calling the Police on My Niece and Not Telling My Sister Beforehand? I'm a 24-year-old female and I have a sister, a 35-year-old female, who has a 16-year-old daughter. Her daughter has started rebelling and being a teenager. And by being a teenager, I don't mean stealing, I mean being mouthy or thinking that she's invincible, that she knows better than everyone. But recently, she's gotten sticky fingers. She's been banned from the mall in our neighborhood, and she was suspended from school for taking a girl's phone, and she even tried to pawn her mother's wedding ring. I don't like my niece at my house for this reason. I have worked too hard for my things for them to be stolen. 2 weeks ago, I noticed the patio door was unlocked and I made sure to lock all the doors myself before I left. My fiance suggested that we get cameras, so we put cameras up in the house. Well, last week, Wednesday, my fiance and I went to go look at some wedding venues and we were gone all day. When we got back, I only had to unlock the bottom lock to get in the house, so we checked the cameras and sure enough, my niece and her friends somehow picked the lock to the window, and she was in our house for hours with 2 guys, and they took some money from my purse. They took 2 of my fiance's Rolex watches, and they also took my grandmother's wedding ring that she left for me when she passed away last year from cancer. They were eating snacks and watching television, shoes on the table and couch, just like they lived there and this was normal. I called my sister and I told her what happened, and I told her that my niece had 2 days to give me everything back or I would call the police, and she said that she would handle it. Well, Thursday comes around and nothing. Friday comes around and nothing. So I called the police, showed them the video, and I filed a report. I got a call later from my sister crying and screaming that I should have told her beforehand. I told her that I gave her 2 days to come up with the stolen items, and I heard nothing back, and I told her that I was going to call the police. She's lucky that I gave her grace for 2 days. My mom called and said that you don't have kids so you don't understand, and I told her that it doesn't matter if I have kids or not. She committed a crime and brought 2 random people into my house. My safety is in danger. I don't get the whole, you should have warned me. Warned her for what? So that she could hide her? I don't think that I did anything wrong. My sister and her husband said that they won't be coming to our wedding, and I told them that the invitation was revoked when your daughter stole my stuff. I've been getting threats from her husband. I want to block them, but my fiance says to keep all the evidence in case something happens. Edit, we do have a security system now. We've changed the locks, and we're getting a safe for his watches and all of his valuable stuff. We were planning on moving by the end of the year, and none of my family will know where I live now. I don't feel safe here knowing 2 random men know where I live. My fiance also says that we are going to get a guard dog. We were already talking about getting a dog. No, this isn't just for guarding. We wanted one before, but we were waiting until we moved. Also, by beforehand, my sister meant the day that I called the police. Also, I have not gotten my stuff back as of yet. I'm calling around the local pawn shops and checking Facebook and Craigslist and all of it. Also, for all the people calling me names over calling the police. You're also not giving me any solutions. I did not want to call the police, which is why I gave her 2 days. I don't think that any of you know how unnerving it is to have your home broken into. You don't know how unsafe it feels to walk into your home, scanning if anything is gone, hearing a creak and wondering if they came back. These 2 random men that she brought know where I live. I should feel safe here, but I feel anything but that. If this had been someone else's home, she could have been seriously hurt or dead. Hopefully, this was a wake-up call. If she needed money, that she could have asked me, but not broken into my home with 2 men who are still on the streets and could come back at any moment and do Lord knows what. Alright folks, what do you think?
No, I don't think OP was in the wrong. This seems like a deeply unnerving situation. And I would recommend showing the text from brother-in-law to the police ASAP because it does sound like things could escalate from here. So yeah, no, I mean, I think OP gave plenty of warning. She did tell the sister, if you don't have this back in 2 days, I'm calling the police. So sister did absolutely nothing. That's on the sister.
Yeah, I feel bad for OP in this situation because it seems like they were really trying to give them the grace period that they needed in order to return the stuff. And I think if I were the sister, then I would be, making sure that that stuff got back if I didn't want my daughter getting charged like this. So I feel like they kind of brought it upon themselves. Like the niece did this to herself. She chose to steal stuff. She didn't think that she would get caught because there weren't security cameras there before to catch them. But surprise, surprise, there were. And now if she's probably going to get charged, she may even go to jail. I think that this is not a great situation, but also OP has a right to feel safe and not have their stuff stolen from them.
Well, and that's the thing. And like, how many more people would she try this with? Like, as OP points out, if this had been in the home of someone with a gun, something very bad could have happened to the niece, too. Like, it's not good to be going around burglarizing people's homes. Like, it seems like were testing the waters the first time, and once they figured they could get out inside, they went ahead and did their little heist.
Mm-hmm.
And like, what's to stop her from then going on and burgling other people?
Yeah, I think this was a fundamentally bad idea on the niece's part, and I think that hopefully this whole thing will be a learning process for her, and hopefully she won't continue her life of crime. But it doesn't sound like that's likely going to be the case because she's already gotten in trouble for stealing from the mall. So, I mean...
Well, it sounds like OP's sister and her husband have completely enabled this. It doesn't sound like there have been any consequences. It sounds like they just want to shield her from the consequences of her actions and be like, this is just kids being kids. This is
no,
not.
it's not. It's not. But let me know what you folks think. So anyhow, take care and good luck. And Dwarf Flying Squirrel says, I'm always curious about these posts because they leave out key details, like have you talked to your sister about your niece's behavior, or your parents? Like, you're not the jerk, but there is a very fine line, and depending on the situation that your sister and her husband are in, this could trigger a lot of different things. Like, how often do you talk to your sister, and how involved are you with her family? I just want to say that I don't even know if that's relevant.
No, I don't think it is.
Like, yeah, are you going to go and talk to any other random thief who breaks into your house's family and be like, hey, your person here stole from me. Please get them under control.
Well, Opie did talk to her sister and be like, you have 2 days to get this stuff back. It's not like she had no warning.
Yeah. And OP replies, my sister knows that her daughter has started stealing. I don't understand what you're saying, but I don't understand what I'm supposed to be doing. And Dwarf Flying Squirrel says, what has your sister done to help your niece? I mean, have you talked to your mom or your sister about your niece, and have you been involved in her life at all? Again, I don't see how this is relevant.
It's not. It makes it sound like it's OP's responsibility to stop the niece's theft, which it's not.
And OP replies, I don't have that close of a relationship with my sister to begin with. We talk on the phone here and there, but we live almost 30 minutes away from each other. There is family stuff from when we were growing up that I don't really care to dish out here. My mom said that she's tried to get my niece in therapy, but she skips out on it a lot of the time. I wouldn't say that I'm close to her. We see each other at family gatherings, but that's about it. And Witchy Inked One says, definitely not the jerk. You are incredibly generous to give them 2 days grace. Have you had any of the items returned since you called the police? Your sister and her husband have absolutely no right to be rude and threatening. Maybe they can use that energy to deal with your niece. And OP replies, they haven't found anything yet. Alright folks, and our next letter is titled, Am I a jerk for not letting my sister know the name chosen for my baby? I am a 38-year-old female, pregnant with my first and probably only child. My sister is a 36-year-old female, also pregnant, but this is her third child, and this baby comes several years after her last child, who is 8 years old. I struggled with fertility problems for many years. I could not get pregnant despite trying from the age of 24. We underwent numerous tests, but no clear reason for this was ever found. We tried taking breaks between trying. We tried fertility medications in recent years, and finally, last year, we finally went through IVF, which was successful for us. You might wonder what this has to do with the name of my baby. Well, let me explain. My husband and I had a boy and a girl name chosen from pretty much the time that we started trying for a baby. These were names that we promised to use whenever we had the baby, and we had planned to have at least 2 children. Those names stayed the names throughout everything. But my sister was pregnant with her first child. She and her husband struggled to agree on a name. She mentioned mine and my husband's chosen names once during her pregnancy and said how lucky we were to have agreed on it. Then, when her daughter was born, she decided to use the girl's name that my husband and I had chosen. And she confessed that is how the name was decided on. She said that her husband liked our chosen name, and she didn't think that it was so bad, so they decided it would be better for them to use it so that the baby could have a name. She told me not to look upset, because admittedly I got emotional when she said this, and told me that at least the name would be used. Then, when her son was born, she used the name that we had chosen for the same reason. They couldn't agree on another name. This did strain our relationship, and I was, and still am, hurt that she was so dismissive of my feelings and so blunt about what they did. She implied pretty strongly that she expected that I would never have children to use the name. Then, a couple of years after her son was born, she made the comment that we agreed so easily so we could find another name if it worked, implying that we could not and should not use the names anymore. We ended up mixing up our boy choice and our girl choice for this baby. Both had a unisex name in them, and we decided, since we loved all 4 names, mixing them wasn't a huge change. My sister won't like this, but honestly, we don't see each other much anymore. She only reached out more now because we're both pregnant at the same time, and she has asked repeatedly about the names that we have chosen. I have refused to tell her, but my 2 brothers know. They thought that I should have used the original names as intended and give our sister the middle finger, but they also understand why we chose to mix them. She sent me a very angry message a few nights ago saying that I was being petty and these babies should grow up close together and we should be working on our relationship. Instead, I'm excluding her and making a point of saying that I don't want to know her anymore. Am I the jerk? Alright folks, what do you think of this very messy situation?
No, 100% not the jerk. The only reason the sister wants OP's baby name is so she can steal it. You know that as soon as OP announced it, you know, if it was anything that she liked at all, she'd just be like, oh, Facebook post, look, my baby's little blah, blah, blah.
Yeah, it seems like the laziest way to choose your own name. I mean, we get these stories every once in a while where the sibling or someone close to them steals a baby name, right? And I mean, I don't think you can steal a baby name, but also it's pretty disrespectful to take a name that somebody had been planning and, had been saving for many, many years and to suddenly be like, actually, I'm going to use this name.
It's very much in poor taste. And then to insinuate because Opie has fertility struggles that we'll just be thankful that these names are getting used. As if she's doing Opie some giant favor.
Yeah.
It's just the audacity there is disgusting.
So I don't think that OP should give her the name, and I don't blame OP for going low contact with her. And again, it feels like the reason why she's reaching out is because she wants OP's name because they're too lazy to come up with their own names. And again, if you have this much in the way of communication issues, then maybe talk to a therapist, a couples therapist.
Yeah, maybe that instead of just, asking your sister for her baby name and so you can take it.
But let me know what you folks think. So anyhow, take care and good luck. And Silverella UK says 2 questions. Has she told you the names that she's picked out this time? Who is due to have the baby first? Tell her names that you would never use. If she is due first, then she will probably steal them. If you are due first, call your baby whatever you really want to and tell her when he or she was born, tell her that they didn't look like a snodgrass, so we changed our minds. But you can use snodgrass if you want to. And OP replies, she told me after each of her children are already born, and I think I'm due first. And Dr. Siegel says, not the jerk. Your sister needs to check her entitlement. She could not come up with a meaningful name for her own children. She used the names that you had your heart set on using and justified it by saying, well, it's not like you can use them. Does she have a history of being insensitive and tactless? I mean, sure, no one has entitlement to a name for their child, but you and your partner decided on those names and were going through a rough time trying to have children together. And she just swoops in and acts like she did both of you a favor in using those names so that they don't go to waste. She can't see how horrible and insensitive that she's been. I'm with your brothers on this, but I'm glad you and your partner are happy with your new choice. It's probably for the best that they spend minimal time around their aunt and cousins. All the best with your new baby. Congratulations. And OP replies, she and her husband could not agree on names. She had lots of names that she loved, but he hated, and vice versa. So they took the easy way out, and she admits to that. This is not the only time that she's been insensitive, but it's the most callous way. Not only because of the topic at hand, but due to her lack of kindness when she explained any of it. Yeah, she didn't sound like she was very nice in her explanation.
No.
All right, folks, it is tea time. Grab your beverages of choice. I've got some tea right here, and Amber has a joke.
How do computers know what to eat?
Oh, it's another computer eating joke. Well, computers know what to eat because computers don't eat, and so they know not to eat anything.
They read the menu.
I see. The main menu. These are definitely 80s jokes. So a long time ago, for people who don't know what this even means, is there was DOS, okay? And you would load up menus and you would be like 1, 2, 3, 4 and select which item you wanted to go to.
Yeah, I was thinking of the taskbar, actually.
Oh, like the taskbar? Yeah, I mean, I guess main menu still is kind of used in that respect, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I have Earl Grey. But there's a really good reason why I have Earl Grey 2 days in a row. It's because we're recording this ahead of time because we might get snow and I don't want to lose power and then not be able to record an episode.
Yeah, it's supposed to be a nor'easter and we're getting like 6 to 13 inches and it's not going to be fun. It's supposed to be spring.
Yeah, it's supposed to be spring. We had some spring weather. We then had a snowstorm and then had a little bit more spring weather and now we're getting another snowstorm. And it's not going to be fun. Not going to be fun at all. Alright folks, that's all the time we have for today. Thank you so much for watching. Happy fantastic Friday. I hope your Friday is going fantastically. Amber, we need some kind of moral advice and or guidance. And please have it involve entitled siblings.
You don't have to please entitled people.
You really don't. You really do not. Thanks so much for watching, and we'll see you all tomorrow.
Bye.